Hello critters, today we have solar lights. This is a 6-pack of solar lights and they are fun. So let's see, no one except professional technicians should attempt disassembly the charger in order to avoid damaging the charger. So take a guess what we're gonna do. We're gonna take it apart. Alright, first things first. I love the fact that there are screw holes here. That means I can screw this right into a wall without having to screw some stupid pattern of screws in the back and then slot it in place. And it even includes a slotted one as well. Personally though, I'm just going to put 2 pieces of sticky back tape on here and slap it up on my shipping containers. I got some 3 meter tall shipping containers out back. And I'm going to put all 6 of these along the back side of the shipping containers. So that, if anybody goes back there, it'll be lit up a little bit. So this is actually pretty neat. It's got a very big major flaw, and I'm hoping the manufacturer will fix it because it's a big one. But in general, it works pretty good. So you turn it, if you cover up the panel and turn it on, that's your high brightness. After 15 seconds of not detecting motion, it turns off. That's actually being lit up by the panel. It's not actually lighting up. So 15 seconds, it turns off. This mode, it is on dim. And when it detects motion, it goes bright. And when the motion goes away, it goes back down to dim, which is about this brightness here. That's about the dim brightness. This mode here is always on dim all night. But it doesn't get brighter when it detects motion. It's like a normal solar light. So you have off brightness, off when motion goes away. So this is going to take a while, but if we sit here for 15 seconds without moving, I don't know if I'm holding it steady enough. I might not be holding it steady enough. Yeah, I'm not. Okay. It really has to be pretty steady, and holding it in your hand, it's moving. So this mode is off. When it detects motion, it goes on full brightness, and when the motion goes away 15 seconds later, it turns off. I already tested all 3 of these. They do work. This mode is dim all night, but full brightness when it detects motion. This mode is simply dim all night. No motion sensor at all. The light is great. I love the fact that it's day white. So this is more of a neutral day white instead of that warm yellow white. The day white is nice for being able to see things, for being able to see detail. So I actually like that. I'll be using it in sensor mode, dim, bright when something comes by it. Now, the big, huge, major flaw. And this is why it's getting downrated big time. That panel is almost useless. I mean, it's a nice solar panel. It's got some nice cells inside there. But as you can see, it's epoxy resin encapsulated. And that's a big problem because that stuff is not UV stable. This will opaque and yellow over time. Out here, probably less than a year. Now, the first couple times it does it, you can take some toothpaste and a polishing rag and you can basically sand it, wet sand it, and make that surface smooth again and clear again. But eventually, you won't be able to do that anymore. Because eventually, you're going to get down to the panel, the cells inside there, and start destroying them. I figure you got maybe 3 to 5 years, depending on how aggressively you have to clean it, before you start getting to the cells and destroying them. So, you need to use either bare cells, or a glass front, or PET front panel. Something that's not epoxy resin. That is a big no-no. I will adjust my review if this does not yellow. But I have yet to see a single one of these that doesn't yellow in broad sunlight. Alright, never once. Right. Now, backside. We've already taken the screws out. Because of course we're going to open this thing and tear it apart. Very simple. Circuit board with the PIR sensor on it. Charging circuitry. This is your power to your LEDs. This is your power to your battery. This is your power to your solar panels. The only penetration in the housing facing up is the solar panel. And they are hot glued. So there is a rubbery glue on there, so water can't come in. If it gets behind the solar panel, it's not going to come inside the housing. It does use a standard 18650 battery cell. It is not a holder. It is soldered on there, but it's soldered on with wires, so it would be pretty easy to snip those wires and solder in a new cell. In fact, if I were to replace this cell, I would actually hot glue an 18650 battery Holt in here. I would use these existing wires, solder them to an 18650 single cell battery holder, and I would hot glue that battery holder in here. This way, from that point forward, all I'd have to do is pop the battery out, pop a new battery in, and I'm good to go again, ready to rock and roll. Pretty cool. Pretty darn cool. This might actually be pretty cool to slap a couple of neodymium magnets on the back of here, and I can just, put this, 8 foot up on my container. I'm 6'5", so I could probably reach about 8.5 feet. And, two or probably three would be best. 1, 2, 3 in a triangle formation. And, slap that bad boy up there, and it's not going to go anywhere. I mean, that's not enough of a profile to be blown away. I gotta ding it for the resin-coated panel, because this is just not going to last. I mean, this has everything it needs to be a non-disposable light. It's got a replaceable cell, simple circuit. It's got a decent housing. It's not going to rust or corrode where I live. If you live somewhere where rust and corrosion are an issue, you might want to pull this board out of here and conformal coat it. Just, soak the whole thing in epoxy and seal that board up. Both sides. Just watch out for the pyre sensor. You don't want to mess up that. But, yeah, seal that board up, and this thing will be good even in wet environments. And it'll be long-lasting because everything's sealed up. It's got a decent housing. It's got a nice daylight, natural white color array. It looks a little blue on the camera, but in real life, it's got a nice... It's a little bit cold. I'd say 5,000 Kelvin, maybe 6,000 Kelvin. But not bad. And you see, obviously, it turned off because the solar panel is getting light from the room. Let me make sure I'm off. Yes. But overall, great if they would just fix that. I mean, it'd be nice for them to put a socket in here for the battery. Not required though, because you can do that. You can buy a bunch of 18650 battery cell holders, and then all you do is snip the wires right off of this battery after it dies. In 2 or 3 years when this battery dies, snip the wires right off the cell itself. And then just slap a new 18650 cell in here. Once you have a socket, once you have a battery holder in here, there's plenty of room, because I can stick a finger on each side. So there's plenty of room to put an actual 18650 cell holder in here, hot glue it in place, and then all you gotta do is pop the cell out, pop a new cell in every 4 or 5 years when those cells die. You might even be able to put lithium iron phosphate cells in here. That might work. Then you might get 10 years out of this before it needs a new battery. That's pretty cool. If I were to do that, I would definitely conformal coat the board. Just in the, it would suck to go through all the work to replace the cell just to have the board rot a year later because it got wet. But it is a pretty good design for protecting from water. Overall, I like it. I was gonna give it 3, but I think I'll give it 4 because all the other features I really like. Replace that solar panel with something that's not gonna fade and opaque and yellow in the sun, and this would be a top notch all day. I mean, it's good. It just, I hate them resin panels. They're just so bad. So we'll see. I will see you guys later.